Welcome back, all you bulls and bears and betas out there, to the buzz of this Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. I'm the Jackal of Trades. In this episode number 26 of the series, the proxy variable, we'll be diving in further to the underlying interests of Proxyopoly, bearing in mind of what may be protected under the trademark of Proxyopoly. Now, as a friendly reminder, I will be recusing myself from this week's episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Acting in my place as Proxy is host 2, Proxy 0.
Greetings, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. I'm Proxy Zero, Proxyopolist pro tempore of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. And resolved, a Proxyopoly has been appointed by the Proxyopolist pro tempore to investigate rumors regarding the conduct of Proxyopolists upon the board of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. Now, which, if true, would tend to injure the good name of this Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. Albeit notwithstanding, if there are any jackals upon the board of Proxyopoly who would like to raise any points of order, or perhaps have grounds for not lying to the Proxyopolist, I will remind the Proxyopolist at home that it is the right of every Proxyopolist who notices a breach of the game rules to insist upon their enforcement. Now, here to deliberate these corporate buzzwords with Proxy Zero further are the jackals of the general partner at large.
Drawing! We are the shackles of the general partner at large. Drawing! And at the behest of the general partner at large of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated, the executive board of Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms have now introduced the bylaws of the Proxyopoly, which read as follows. These bylaws may be amended at any meeting of the Proxyopoly by a 2/3 vote, provided the amendment has been submitted in writing. Oh, Proxyopolis, the Game of Proxyopoly podcast seems to have come across a impasse here. The paradoxes of the Proxyopoly linger within this promissory chambers of the Proxyopoly. Now, at any rate, to insist upon the qualitative nature of the quantitative algorithms lurking about this Proxyopoly system is the proprietary quantitative algorithm. Soyez prêts! Soyez prêts!
Greetings, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. My name is relevant and immaterial, but worth noting, I am the proprietary quantitative algorithm of this Proxyopoly system. And moving on to the agenda items lying on the table of this Proxyopoly system, we're now introducing the implied volatility and will be directing the disposition of volatility inputs via the proxy variable within the context of this Proxyopoly system. But be warned, Proxyopolist at home, there are several proxy variables, just as there are innumerable mock proxies roaming about this Proxyopoly system.
I didn't hear a drying, Proxyopolis. My name is irrelevant and immaterial as well. But worth noting, I am the proprietary qualitative algorithm of this Proxyopoly system. And while the proprietary quantitative algorithm will be seeking to direct the disposition with volatility inputs in the Black-Scholes-Merton model as to evidence the use of proxy variables within the context of Proxyopoly, as specifically Proxyopoly is a proprietary quantitative algorithm used to make any proxy vote germinate with its beneficial owners' underlying proxy variables for non-financial performance.
Greetings, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. My name is irrelevant and immaterial as well. But worth noting, I am the proprietary anti-logarithm of this Proxyopoly system we call the game of Proxyopoly Podcast. Now, here to elaborate on the logarithmic scales which can put things into size and scope of the Proxyopoly, we will now be deliberating the logarithmic scales which may be used to represent certain qualities or analyze data in Proxyopoly. In some of the cases of proxy variables in Proxyopoly, anti-logarithms can be employed to convert values back to their original scale. And while the proprietary anti-logarithm grows stronger with each episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, it is the objective of this Proxyopoly system that Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated and its general partner be discharged.
Well, if it ain't Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms, formally motion to discharge the general partner at large of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. Well, I'll be danged, Proxyopoly. I didn't know you had it in you. Looks like you discarded enough protraction cards and procurement cards and dissident proxy cards to procure enough mock proxies to take on the Proxyopolis Pro Tempore Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. Well, if you got what it takes, Proxyopolis, to own the Proxyopolis Pro Tempore, wait. In the meantime, this message has been brought to you by the Jackal of Trading Card Games. Want to discard some cards of your own in Proxyopoly? Well, visit the link tree at linktree/NASCAR where you can find all the mock prospectuses, mock proxies, and maybe even find out more about the mock merger that's on the table for the special meeting uncensored this season in the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Resolved. The methodology of using proxy variables in Monte Carlo simulations to arrive at the proprietary quantitative algorithm are qualified to represent the Proxyopoly at the special meeting uncensored. If you might object to this as a Proxyopolis, please speak now, or forever hold your proxy peace.
Hold it right there, Proxyopolis. I'm the proxy problem of this Proxyopoly system. And it may be worth noting that special meetings of the Proxyopoly may be only called by the Proxyopolis Pro Tempore, who at this point in time is Proxy Zero, Proxyopolis Pro Tempore of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. If you would like to represent a Proxyopoly of your choice within the context of Proxyopoly, kindly contact Proxyopoly today on the link tree. If not, it looks like we'll be seeking resolution to these proxy problems here on the Game of Proxyopoly podcast ourselves. Now, here to call the special meeting uncensored to order and to ask all mock proxies to submit their proxy votes to the Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms is Proxy Zero, host 2.
Thank you for those kind introductions, my fellow Proxyopolis. It is I once again, Proxy Zero. Proxyopolis Pro Tempore, Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. And I'll be calling a special meeting uncensored of the Proxyopoly known as Thunderblast Energy Drinks. That's right, Proxyopolis. Now I will ask that all general partners and Proxyopolis of Thunderblast Energy Drinks report to the special meeting uncensored of Proxyopoly here on the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. This season 4. What will happen in season 5? Is it the mock merger? Are we colliding with the Proxyopolis of the whole? in the fictitious and non-fictitious Perhaps this is where Proxyopoly is headed. Is this the direction that Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms would like to go? I think we're gonna find out when the Proxy votes next episode on the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Now, I will ask if the jackals of the general partner at large of Cloud Corp International Holdings Incorporated have any additional protection cards, procurement cards, or dissident proxy cards to play in the Game of Proxyopoly podcast.
Drang. They are the shackles of the general partner at large. Drang. And as mentioned in last week's episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, there are no more protraction cards left to play before the special meeting uncensored. However, the proxy procuration of the Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms has one last procurement card to play before the proxy votes next episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. And this point of order is regarding the anti-logarithm. Whereas anti-logarithms can be used to transform logarithmic returns back to their original scale, providing a measure of volatility in the form of a percentage or absolute changes in the form of a proxy variable. By applying anti-logarithms to interpret the volatility of Proxyopoly, we may find more intuitive measures of Proxyopoly changes, facilitating comparison and analysis.
I didn't hear a drang once again, Proxyopoly. My name is the proprietary qualitative algorithm once again. And a friendly reminder to the Proxyopolist at home. There are 200 million mock proxies currently siding with the dissident proxy of this Proxyopoly system. And the proprietary qualitative algorithm cannot recommend Proxyopoly call a special meeting uncensored of Thunderblast energy drinks while there is a dissident proxy roaming this Proxyopoly system.
It's me again, the proprietary anti-logarithm of this Proxyopoly system. I don't have any protraction cards, procurement cards, or dissident proxy cards here. I'm just the proprietary anti-logarithm of this Proxyopoly system. And did you know, Proxyopolis, that anti-logarithms can be used to study volatility as a proxy variable in certain contexts? And if you needed me to make the definition of volatility germane, volatility is a measure of the degree of fluctuation or variability in the price or value of a financial asset. However, anti-logarithms provide information about the level of uncertainty or risk associated with the asset's returns. In financial modeling and analysis, volatility is often estimated and represented using logarithmic transformations containing proxy variables. One common approach is to calculate the logarithmic return of an asset's price or values over a specific period of time. By taking the natural logarithm of the ratio of the prices, you obtain a series of logarithmic returns, and a friendly reminder that mock investments do involve mock risk, and mock performance is not indicative of mock returns within the context of this Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast.
Mine is candy apple red like a 72 Chanel.
Well. Looks like you're putting it all together here, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. These mock investments might involve mock risk, but mock performance is not indicative of mock returns within the context of this Proxyopoly system. And is just a touch base on what these anti-logarithms can do for this Proxyopoly, specifically in the special meeting uncensored of Thunderblast energy drinks, where the general partner of that company may be discharged fictitiously, mockingly. However, anti-logarithms can be used within the special meeting uncensored to return logarithmic returns back to their original scale, provided that a measure of volatility in the form of a proxy variable is included in that anti-logarithm. By applying these anti-logarithms, analysts can interpret the volatility as a more intuitive measure of price changes, facilitating more reliable comparison and analyses. Alright, Proxyopolis, Go visit the Proxyopoly post today on the Linktree at Linktree/NASCAR because next episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast is the Proxy votes. And you ain't going to want to miss this one because there are decisions of consequences made by boards upon the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. And this Proxyopoly system is brought to you by Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated, which has subsidiaries listed in this Proxyopoly podcast. I'm NASCAR Cosa, the jackal of trading card games within the context of Proxyopoly. Signing off for now on the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Stay tuned, Proxyopolis. The proxy votes await.